Oh, hi Gabriel Young. I didn't see you there. I'm just busy getting my mind and body ready for the match, December 2nd. You've been busy golfing, riding horses, eating fancy 17-course meals. I am a true Canadian getting ready for this match, where I dominate you on Audin Larratt's channel live December 2nd at 1 p.m. EST. Gabriel, you are going down.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Inside Arm Wrestling, the home for all news on arm wrestling, fitness, strength sports, and competition. Folks, I'm going to jump into a topic today, which I think is a really cool topic, and that's the emergence of next generation arm wrestlers. And I want to specifically talk about a young man whose name is Audin Larratt. I have kind of watched Auden now in the last several months come into the social media formula, if you will. His dad, Devin, has, kind of started to bring his son into the spotlight a little bit. And I'll be honest with you, folks. I think that it's really a great opportunity to see the future of arm wrestling and arm wrestling sports when you start to look at Auden and other young athletes that are starting to kind of create a following on Facebook, is starting to create some personality in this space. It's really fun. I mean, when you're in a sport, you're always wondering where your sport is going. And in arm wrestling, I don't think that's any different. I played football, and, as football progressed over the years, people became stronger, faster, more intelligent on the playing field, more adept to play the game at a higher level. And we were always amazed that a quarterback who threw the football 50 yards, now quarterbacks throw the football 70, 75 yards. Field goal kickers who kick 40 to 50 yards now kick over 60 in today's game. There are a lot of things that change and progress better due to evolution of the sport and growth within our humanity. I think arm wrestling is one of them. There are some consistent things in any sport, football being one: speed, hands, eye-hand coordination. In arm wrestling, certainly that static strength, that connective tissue, arm leverage. There's a lot of tradability in arm wrestlers that you can't teach or evolve. And I like to kind of touch upon this young man, Auden, and a couple of things. Well, I think he's really good for the sport. Not too long ago, maybe about a half a year ago, he was at the Canadian Nationals. He finished first in the under 80 kilogram, which is 176, right-handed. On the left, he finished second in his, I believe, age bracket. I don't believe that he was in the adult section, but I certainly think he was in an age-appropriate section for that. And, some of the characteristics of Auden, I think, are really made for the person and the personality that this young man can become. He's a tall young man. He's certainly a good-looking young man. He's got a fun smile. He looks to the camera. He's engaging. He's strong. He's strong as heck. I mean, he's a tall young man. He's got a lot of the physical aspects that will make a great arm wrestler in the future. He's got a lot of personality characteristics that will make him very marketable in the future. He already has 15,000 followers on Instagram. I'm not quite sure what his age is. I don't believe he's over 18. I think he might be 16 or 17. But you know what? He's really a fun, fresh individual in the arm wrestling community. And folks, when you have a young talent like this, he's a dangerous individual. Who wants to lose to a 16-year-old if you've been arm wrestling for many, many years? Certainly it's not a shameful thing to lose to anyone. Sometimes you're just not the better person at the table. But to know that, 10, 12, 15 years of sports and or arm wrestling and maturity and growth, to find that a 16-year-old young man, potentially a phenom, can come in and beat you off the go. It's a humbling experience. And, it's interesting. I think that for many reasons, Devin has kept his personal life and family life out of the equation. Certainly, Jody has been a face amongst the arm wrestling events for many, many years. Devin's pillar in his corner. But his children, I think, responsibly have been out of the picture. Now that Auden is going into the arm wrestling world, he's kind of brought him to the forefront. Certainly making introductions to him on different levels than most 16, 17, or 18-year-olds will have the ability to do internationally, being in the international pulling crew and crowd. So I like what I see. I like what I see with the young arm wrestlers of the future. He did take on a social media sensation in Gabriel Young. Gabe, who is a friend, I think would be considerably rated as a what many will call a semi-pro arm wrestler. Some like to use the pro designation because they pull in the open class. I think he's what many would call a semi-pro or an awards arm wrestler, not someone that's on the elite level. Here in California, in the 176 class, I would say he might be top 30, 25 to 30. Maybe a little bit better. He's certainly not top 10. He's probably not top 100 in the nation. But on the social media end, he may be the top 1 in California, top 1 in the nation for under 176. So it was a very good pick for Devin to put Gabriel and Auden together. I think that Gabriel also is a young man that probably put a little bit of fuel on that fire to get the nod to have this super match that they did. Auden certainly handled Gabriel very, very easily. It was no contest at all. There was one point, I believe, in the match I watched that Gabe jumped the gun, jumped the start, and it looked like he flash pinned him, but it was obviously a false start. Very much in control the whole match, very much a mirror of his father. I think he may have even gave the Larratt no head shake at one point, looking out to his dad and to the crowd, knowing he was in complete control, pronating right over Gabriel's wrist. And so it made for a fun event. And then, we saw this weekend, following up with the Core Sports wrap-up on Wednesday, Auden got a chance to pull on the national stage against an Adam Silver, which, let's put it into perspective. Adam's great guy, amateur, maybe a medalist on an amateur at best, not a pro. And again, a very good selection for Auden to pull. I think that staying within his wheelhouse of strength and maturity on the table. He seems to be a very mature young man in life, but I'm not quite sure how much table time he's had over the last several years. Adam, who's had a lot of table time, but just not a lot of progression in the sport, typically pulls amateurs from what I've known in the past. Maybe, again, a regional award or medalist class arm puller. Not going to win too many tournaments out there, but certainly going to win a lot of friendships and a lot of smiles. He's a super great guy. Auden took real easy control of the match, flashed him from the start. Bill Collins was the referee. It was super cool to watch it all go down. But you know what, folks? I think that in any progression, taking small steps as Auden is doing is very wise. He's not outpacing himself. He's not frustrating himself. He's certainly not creating a false sense of success. He's beating people within his class. He's not beating anyone under his class. Everyone he's arm wrestling is what I would call maybe on par, within a few percent up or down. And he's showing that he's he's a young man that has a lot of future. And certainly, guys, I really like to see the fact that he has a lot of smile to him. He has a lot of I'll call charisma to him. And listen, folks, at one time or at one place, I'm sure that I'll be able to say hi to him. He probably has the genetic gifts of his dad. It certainly shows as such on the social media side. But you know what? It's really good to see. I think that with young men like Auden, and listen, Gabriel's a young man as well. There's a Jaden Knight out there, Jr. He's a young teenager. There's a lot of young pullers out there that are making their way, super strong, super dedicated. And you know, it makes a big difference to know that our sport has the personalities, the performance, and the longevity that the sport would want to have coming in the future. And we look forward to seeing Auden and the rest of the young men continue to progress. So, folks, give us a comment below. Tell us who you think that maybe Auden should take on next. Someone within his wheelhouse. Certainly not Alan Fisher, but perhaps somebody like a Caleb Armbender out of California. Someone like maybe like a Paulie Parks out of New York. Someone that may give him a little bit more test on the table, and let's see what his arm can do against them. Leave your comments below. As always, folks, hit that like button. We like likes. Hit the subscribe button, the notification button. And as we get closer to Christmas and the holidays, folks, remember, it's his Greg Sharp telling you to train hard, pull smart, and live safe, and have an amazing holiday season. Folks, if you like these stories and you want to see more, please hit the like button and subscribe to our page. Also hit the notification bell underneath the video so that way you're notified every time a new video comes out. And if you're on social media, specifically Instagram, go to the World Series of Arm Wrestling Instagram page. Please follow it. We'll try to follow you back, but it'll keep you up to date with all of the news and events in the world of arm wrestling.